Hi everybody, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing good. How's the weather? I know it's like monsoon in most of the parts of India, so I hope you all are doing good. Okay, in today's video we are going to be talking about Stephen King's Misery. So this was my first ever Stephen King novel. So how I came about getting to read Misery was I was actually looking forward to reading Stephen King because everybody raves about him. Every single book that he publishes just somehow finds its way on social media and people instantly start talking about it and start recommending it. So, and like it's always there on Goodreads as well. So I went on Google and I Googled top Stephen King novels and Misery was actually one of them. So I bought it and I decided to read it. So Misery is actually a suspense novel, as it says right at the binding at the top. So I actually, before going into this book, I actually thought that this was a horror novel. For some reason, yes, I'm a stupid because I didn't see the suspense written here in capital. So I will give you a little summary of the novel. So basically the novel has a protagonist by the name Paul Sheldon, and he is a writer. Like I feel like all the basic premise of the novel has been mentioned at the cover itself. Like it says Paul Sheldon used to write for a living, now he's writing to stay alive. So you get a very basic idea as to what this story is gonna be about, right? So like first question that arises is why is he writing to stay alive? And like if you read the blurb at the back, you will get a pretty decent understanding of what the story is going to be about. Even like in the very initial stages of starting the book, you will understand what the story is about because it is pretty evident. So basically Paul Sheldon is a writer and he has written this book series which has a protagonist named Misery, and everybody loves that book. Like he has got such a big fandom who specifically loves Misery, but Paul Sheldon himself does not like writing Misery, and he is quite literally miserable while writing that character. So he just wants to get done with it and wants to focus on other things, other writing projects. So he finally, in his last ever Misery book, kills the character in a way that there is no possible return of that character in the future. So he's finally relaxed and happy, and then our good old writer gets into an accident because of a storm, and he's like drunk and stuff, and then he wakes up in a really unusual surrounding, and he comes across this lady who goes by the name Annie Wilkes, and he is presumably a nurse. Annie Wilkes then moves forward and does not take Paul Sheldon to the hospital, rather she tries to treat him at her home, at her space, but she wants this one thing from him, and she wants him to write another Misery novel by the name Misery Returns, but that novel is specifically going to be hers. So sharing with you my impressions of the novel, I would say that the starting of the novel is done really, really well. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed getting into the novel and understanding the premise of the novel, despite knowing what was happening because of the blurb and what is written at the front. So I really enjoyed getting into the novel. And then fast forward to the ending, I absolutely loved the ending. Because of that ending, I am willing to give Stephen King a second chance, and maybe if I read other work by him, I might become his #1 fan. But whatever I read in the middle, I wouldn't say that I am a fan of that. I don't know, there was not exactly much suspense going on except for the ending. There was a lot of suspense. But in the middle of it, like I didn't read this novel to read, like yes, you want to know who Misery is, but then once you know that it's the character, you don't want to read more about it, right? So the novel is basically written in a way that you are reading Misery Returns as Paul Sheldon is writing it. I personally would skip those pages because I wasn't interested in reading about Misery because I didn't know the background of Misery, who Misery is. I don't think it has been done in a good way, but I completely loved the suspense part of it. Like there are some bits and pieces, even in the middle section of the book, there are some bits and pieces that are filled with suspense, and I absolutely love that. I literally had to like read those passages quickly because I wanted to know what is going to happen next. Some parts in the middle had that kind of suspense, but then the rest of it was pretty like slow and pretty lazy, and like what Paul Sheldon was doing in a particular day and what Annie Wilkes was doing downstairs, doing outside in the living room or in the kitchen. So everything else is like pretty mundane, and it's something that I wouldn't expect from a suspense novel. But towards the end of the novel, it definitely spikes up, and you are kind of like really at the edge of your seat and want to know what is going to happen. So I had to put that book away because I knew that some suspense, like the suspense was building up, and it was getting nighttime. So I was like, okay, I don't want to read it now, because I know that if I continue reading it, I will be reading it until the morning. I just put the book away and then picked it up the next day and completed it, and oh boy, the suspense killed me. I don't know if I would recommend this book or not. Honestly, I would give this a solid 2.5 out of 5. That's what I have given it on Goodreads. If you don't like extremely suspenseful stuff, don't read it. If you like extreme suspense and no mundanity and no laziness in the middle of the novel. With that note, we have come to the end of this video. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do that. It would literally make my day. And if you want to follow me on my socials, the links are in the description, and I will also leave the handles on the screen. And I will see you guys next week, inshallah. Till then, take care. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.